Riley? The pierced ears and a tattoo right there. Wow. How are you? I'm just going to leave you hanging here and leave, because that's all it is. How come even if you're 90 feet away and you don't even know it, that you're still like, oh, and like girlfriend is nudging dude, like, oh. How come a baby like grabs us and just, even dudes are like, oh. Is it because of possibility? Riley hasn't been beaten up by life yet. Are you with me? She hasn't been betrayed. She's only known love and provision. She hasn't experienced a cold shoulder. She hasn't had her words misunderstood. She hasn't had a dark night of the soul where you wonder, is there any point in going on? So it's possibility. Is that why a child, even from 87 feet away, something in you says, okay, that's cute? Is this because, where will she go? What will she encounter? Think of the possibility. Think what these eyes will see. Maybe someday you can go to Michigan State and help them score points in the second half. It's the possibility. Yes, it's a possibility. What will she see? What things will she encounter that if we were to see those things right now, our jaws would drop? No way. Who will she meet? What fascinating people will she interact with? What work will she find to do with her hands? What ways will she experience and give love? There is possibility in a child. Birth. It taps into us. What would it be like to do it all over again? What would it be like to have everything before you and nothing behind you? Birth taps in to a longing every. But I'm going to keep it.
When I was a baby, I was in 100 periods.
She could be years later, like, I had this recurring dream as a young child. I was exposed to a traumatic situation. And he never stopped talking, and he never stopped talking. Of all the images, one of the ones the first Christians tapped into about resurrection is new birth. He said, with resurrection, with death and rebirth, you can start over. This passage isn't just a baby. It's speaking of a clean slate. It's speaking of a fresh day. It's speaking of the first day of a new week of creation. 11 years ago, we started a church. You may have heard of it. And we wanted to help be a part of a community where people could meet the resurrected Christ, hopefully free from some of the package and obstacles and baggage that so easily get attached to the Jesus, resurrected Jesus that we find so compelling. My wife had this enduring image of a cross, and it had all this junk on it. And that our job was to just like take all of the junk off of the cross, the stuff that was piled and broken pieces, just to try and get it off so you could see clearly that it was a cross. A sort of enduring image that she would often speak of. We just need to get the stuff off it so you can see it clearly. Our hope was that it would be a place of healing, a place where you could doubt and ask whatever question, where there was lots of freedom to explore and discover and learn and grow and evolve and change and stretch. And this dream, this passion was something we held very, very, very close to our heart. And what happened right away is people came unexpectedly. My wife and I were in our late 20s. You don't know anything when you're 28. And people came. and they brought their friends, and their neighbors, and their dentists, and someone they met. I mean, people came, and more, and more, and more. And my training was as a pastor. That's sometimes a different thing than leading a complex, large institution. And for many of us, we simply didn't know how do you deal with something with this many thousands of people, with this sort of structure? How do you run something like this so you can actually help serve people well? And so as the years progressed, it sort of felt like top-heavy sometimes. Sometimes it felt like a 200-pound toddler, like young but huge and hard for it to sort of move around. With an image I just gave you, right? But people would often say this. It's like it appears so giant when you find out how young it is, and there's certain things that only come with age and experience. Are you with me? I remember we would have leaders who were trying to figure out how you would organize this, and lots of things were tried that didn't work. Phone calls were not returned. How do people, if they have a question or a concern, how do they even communicate it, and how do we even respond? When there's that much, how do you even begin to do it? I remember when a number